guys, I'm Pranavin Nissan and today I'll be talking about a book called The Beautiful by Rene Ardier. So, The Beautiful is a fantasy book. It is the first in a series. There are currently only two books out there, The Beautiful and The Damned, and this review is going to be only about The Beautiful. I've read it recently and I decided to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So, The Beautiful takes place in 1872 of New Orleans. It follows the story of a young girl, a 17-year-old girl called Claire Celine. Celine Rousseau is running away from Paris. She's running away from her past and she decides to come to New Orleans and live in a convent and find a husband and just have a new beginning and forget her old life in Paris. So she boards a ship from there and she makes some friends on the ship and she comes to live in a convent. And before she can realize any of her goals, that finding a husband, like finding a suitable home and all, she comes across this beautiful, mysterious, dark and dangerous underworld of New Orleans, and it is very charismatic. It's like moth to a flame to her. So she was a fashion designer in Paris, a tailor slash fashion designer. So in New Orleans, she tries to sell a few of her handkerchief, beautifully sewn handkerchiefs, and while doing that she comes across a beautiful young girl called Odette and another very handsome man called Sebastian, and these two lure her into the beautiful, very dangerous, supernatural side of New Orleans. And while all of this is going on, there's a serial killer out there targeting young girls and killing them most brutally. And this serial killer's eyes have fallen on Celine. So, this is the story of Sebastian, Celine, and the serial killer. So I felt that this book was more of a mystery thriller rather than a fantasy supernatural vampire stuff, because there is a supernatural side to this book, but it doesn't focus much on the supernatural side. We focus mostly on the murders that are happening, the groundwork for the series to be built upon, and the serial killer. Most of the focus is on the serial killer and the murders. So I had very low expectations before going into this book because I'm over my YA fantasy years, so I wasn't expecting to be like thrilled or amazed at any of the concepts in the book. Like, I've seen all the cliches there could be into YA over all my years of reading, so I didn't expect anything new or anything grand. I just went in there to have some fun and get entertained. So it was really surprising. It was really well written. So vampires are like, they're always attracting. Like, whenever you see a book about vampire romance or vampires and werewolves, love triangles and all, you're instantly attracted to read them. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to read it, because it's been so long since I read something containing vampires and the classic love triangle stuff. But I was pleasantly surprised because this is not the kind of like normal YA stuff where you have a boy and another boy and a girl and the whole plot is focused only on those three, the relationship between those three and the characters, like that. But this has more focus on the world and character building and the theme building rather than just the classic YA love triangle and the classic fantasy stuff. So I was really impressed by how well this book was written. The way it is written, it's so atmospheric. It just transports you to a very dark, very beautiful, mysterious New Orleans in like 19th century, and it's just amazing. I listened to the audiobook as well as I read the ebook, so it was like, it had a lot of French and Spanish terms because this takes place mostly in the French quarter of the New Orleans New Orleans place. So there are a lot of French people, Spanish people, so many different languages and very unusual names. So it's good to listen to the audiobook while reading the ebook or the physical book, because you can listen to the pronunciation and see how it's written. And the audiobook is narrated in a French accent, which was so luxurious and such fun to experience. Like, it was really fun. French accents are very exotic and I don't know, they're always entertaining to listen to. So the whole book was rather entertaining. It was very slow, I won't deny that. It's very slow in terms of plot, but I think that's necessary to give us a background of all the characters, like lay a very strong foundation for the next books in the series to be built upon. So apart from the plot and the atmosphere of the book, another thing I liked most about it is the characters. Especially the main character, Celine Rousseau. She is 17 years old and she is a warrior. She will get whatever she wants. She's stubborn, determined, focused. She's strong. Even if she's not strong, she pretends to be strong and she channels all that acting, fake energy, and she's awesome. She's just completely awesome. And she's like a far more progressed than other women in 19th century. Like she questions the rules, she defies the rules, she makes her own rules, and she's very power hungry, like in a good way, not like Voldemort power hungry, but she wants to be on equal level with the men. So that's not what you come across in the women of 19th century. So it was very refreshing to have a YA heroine who's just as awesome as the heroes in other books. Like, I mean, there are awesome YA heroines like Selena Sadotti and the Ruby Red trilogy. There are many of them out there, but I'm talking about the classic love story heroines. Like, let's not take names, but most of the vampire story heroines are just like weak, and I'm just going to sit there and let others fall in love with me and just die when they fall out of love with me. Like that kind of heroines. But this was not like that. This was very refreshing and rather entertaining to see her take things into her own hands, like take the action. It was awesome that you check out this book. It's not too much about vampires and werewolves. If you're afraid of that, like if you're like a very strong Twilight hater, then you don't have to be worried about reading this book because it has more of murder aspects than the supernatural elements. Overall, I thought this was a very fun read, and I'm excited to start the second book, that is The Damned. And I have no idea when the third book is coming out. I think I read somewhere that will be coming out this year. So let's see. So that's it for this video, and keep your eyes peeled for more book reviews and book related videos. Until then, goodbye.